I've heard some people thumping their chests and shout, "We ruled India for 1,000 years." But what if that's far from the truth and just another blatant lie? What if I tell you the truth is that for 1,000 years Hindus fought back relentlessly and they were never fully conquered, and in the end they emerged victorious too? Let's dive deep into this and relearn the history of Bharat from our own lenses. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. Now let's begin. In 712 CE, Muhammad bin Qasim of the Umayyad Caliphate attacked and captured Sindh. But here's the catch. Even after his invasion, Arab armies couldn't move beyond. They tried for decades but failed to push past the strong kingdoms of India. Within half a century, Bappa Rawal rose and forged powerful alliances and drove them out of Sindh. After that humiliation, the caliphate never again made serious headway, and even after that, it took the Islamic invaders almost 500 years after Qasim to gain another foothold in Bharat. The Rashtrakutas in the Deccan, the mighty Gurjar Pratiharas in the north, the Chauhans, the Solankis, the Chavdas, the Parmaras, the Kalachuris and Palas, and many more dynasties like these all kept the frontier of Bharat secure for coming centuries. Arab chroniclers themselves admitted the armies of Islam that had crushed many civilizations like Persia and Byzantium easily, it sank at the banks of the Ganga. The Arabic Islam was conclusively defeated in India. And that is a remarkable feat that has been kept hidden from us. Now, by the 11th century, Mahmud of Ghazni from the Ghaznavid Empire raided India some 17 times. He looted Somnath, Mathura and Kannauj. Despite all that, he never managed to hold permanent power here. After his empire collapsed and was swallowed by the Ghurids again started their campaigns in India. Then came Muhammad Ghori. In 1191, at the first battle of Tarain, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated him so decisively that Ghori barely escaped with his life. A year later, Ghori returned, this time pleading peace, but later using betrayal and deceit. He won by attacking Prithviraj's army in their sleep. Ajmer was sacked brutally. Temples destroyed, Hindus butchered and enslaved. Yet that didn't weaken the resistance. It only hardened it. From 1206 after Ghori's death, the slave dynasty, aka the Delhi Sultanate, rose. But the Rajputs refused to bend. The Chauhans, the Guhilas of Mewar, the Parmaras of Malwa, and many more, they kept fighting decade after decade and century after century. Delhi rulers kept changing, Slave, Khilji, Tughlaq, Lodi, but none of them could assert control over Rajputana. By the late 13th century, Rajputs were resurgent again. Hamir Dev Chauhan of Ranthambore and Rawal Ratan Singh of Mewar stood tall. Alauddin Khilji, through treachery, struck down both the great kings, and future looked bleak for Bharatiyas. But within decades, the Sisodias of Mewar bounced back. Rana Hamir recaptured Chittorgarh, restored honor and rebuilt the Rajput. Then came Rana Kumbha, the builder king, who constructed 32 forts including Kumbhalgarh, with the world's second largest wall after the Great Wall of China. Mewar once again stood up as the flame of resistance in North India. Meanwhile, in the south, the Hoysalas and later the Vijayanagara Empire became the southern fortress of Hindu resistance. At its height, Vijayanagara stretched from the Tungabhadra to Kanyakumari, producing prosperity, art and crushing sultanates again and again. For over 200 years, Vijayanagara ensured that Islam never spread unchecked in the south. By the 16th century, the Delhi Sultanate was collapsing, and under Rana Sanga, Rajput power rose again. He defeated the Delhi rulers twice and even kept the king and his son as prisoners for 6 months. Later, when Babur defeated the Lodhis, Rana Sanga's forces clashed with Babur at Khanwa in 1527. The battle was brutal, and the use of cannons came as a big surprise for the Rajput forces, and the elephant cavalries of Rajput armies, as they saw it for the first time, were decimated. Yet the battle kept swinging on both sides throughout the day. The Rajputs even put their heads in the cannons to destroy them. The losses were enormous on both sides, and the battle was inconclusive. Even Babur had to admit in his memoirs that he had never faced such warriors before. The battle may have been inconclusive, but the spirit of resistance lived on. After Rana Sanga's death, Delhi was a throne no one could hold for long, swinging between the Afghan Sur dynasty and the Mughals. Then the Delhi throne was passed on to the Akbar, and at the same time, from the sacred land of Mewar, resistance came again, first through Uday Singh and then came the Maharana Pratap. In 1576, he clashed with Akbar's forces under Man Singh at Haldi Ghati and forced Akbar's forces to retreat. Pratap also retreated into the forests and turned resistance into guerrilla war. Akbar sent 4 more expeditions against Maharana Pratap, one of which he led himself, but no one could even dent Pratap's resistance. Finally, in 1582 at Dever, when Pratap and his army slaughtered the Mughal forces thoroughly, Akbar never dared to send another expedition against Maharana Pratap till he lived. And it wasn't just Mewar. The Rathors of Marwar, led by Rao Chandra Sen, kept large part of Rajasthan free, along with many other small kingdoms supporting Mewar and Marwar. For all his might, Akbar never fully controlled Rajputana. The Rajput heartland stayed defiant. After Pratap, his son Rana Amar Singh carried the torch, clashing not only with Akbar but later with Jahangir, and even under Shah Jahan too, Mewar and Marwar kept resisting. The Rajputana frontier was never pacified. It was a constant reminder for the Mughals that danger was still looming right under their nose. In the Deccan, Shivaji Maharaj rose like fire. He didn't just fight battles, he dreamed of Hindvi Swaraj. He broke Mughal generals, outwitted Bijapur, created forts and gave the Marathas a sense of destiny. His guerrilla tactics, inspired by Maharana Pratap, his lightning raids and his vision of Hindu Padshahī made him the nightmare of the Mughal Empire. By the time Aurangzeb sat on the throne, often called as the most powerful Mughal emperor, his empire was already bleeding under non-stop wars. For over 50 years, Aurangzeb fought war after war against the Marathas in the Deccan, led by Sambhaji, Rajaram and Tarabai, and eventually the Peshwas, against the Ahoms in Assam, who defeated him at Saraighat in 1671 under Lachit Borphukan, against the Sikh in Punjab, where Guru Tegh Bahadur gave his life, and Guru Gobind Singh's Khalsa became a sword that Mughal army could never break, against the Jats in Bharatpur, led by Gokula and Churaman, who raided Mughal territory again and again, against Chhatrasal in Bundelkhand, who carved out a kingdom right under his nose, and against the Sisodiyas of Mewar and Rathors of Marwar, where Durgadas Rathod defied Aurangzeb for decades with the support of Mewar, protecting Ajit Singh and making sure Marwar stayed free. Aurangzeb never saw a single day of peace. His treasury was drained, his armies exhausted, his spirit broken when he died. After his death in 1707, he left behind a shattered empire which exerted control over only a few 50 kilometers around Delhi. Then finally Peshwa Bajirao, the undefeated warrior of the Marathas, put the final nail in the coffin of Mughal Empire, and by 1740 the Mughal Empire was only a name. The dynasty stumbled on for another century, but its back was broken forever. So what does this tell us? From the day Muhammad bin Qasim entered Sindh till the day Aurangzeb died, for 1,000 years Bharat never stopped fighting. For 1,000 years Hindu resistance never broke. Not for a moment were we fully conquered. Not for a moment did the flame go out. And that's why Bharat still stands today. So the real story is not of 1,000 years of Islamic rule. The real story is 1,000 years of unbroken Hindu resistance which has been kept hidden from us. Let's reclaim this history and let's reclaim the narrative. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.